Hello, good afternoon, dobar dan, dobrodošli u novu video lekciju. Jedna veoma intense lekcija, dakle pripremila sam neki konverzacijski materijal i sad sam ga upravo snimila i shvatila da su rečenice veoma intense, veoma onako je napeta je situacija u rečenicama. Nadam se da ćete naučiti novi vokabular, nešto nove gramatike, neke nove izraze. Nadam se u svakom slučaju da će vam biti korisna. Učenje kroz ili uz pomoć rečenice je po meni efektnije. Dakle, džaba se uče razne tablice, glagolska vremena, sve onako posebno, sve je super, sve znam, međutim ne znam da primenim, jel tako, koliko se to puta u životu izgovorili. Dakle, ovde ćete naučiti nešto konkretno da primenite, vidjet ćete, bit će mnogo priča o I would, if I were you, da sam na tvom mestu i tako dalje. U svakom slučaju mislim da će vam biti interesantno. Krećemo odmah. Number 1. If I answered the phone, it would surprise him. If I answered the phone, it would surprise him. U prevodu, ako bih odgovorila na telefon, odnosno ako bih se javila na telefon, to bi njega iznenadilo. So what would happen if you answered the phone? So he's calling, but I'm not answering. Because if I answered the phone, it would surprise him. Maybe he would have a heart attack. So it's better not to answer when he calls because he knows that I won't answer. If I answered, it would surprise him. Number 2. If I walked in a straight line, I would be fine. If I walked in a straight line, I would be fine. Ako bih hodala po ravnoj liniji, bila bih ok. To mi liči na neku situaciju kad vas zaustavi policija, pa ili duvate u ono da se proveri alkohol, ili you have to walk in a straight line. If you can walk in a straight line, it's okay. If you can't walk in a straight line, so it's not okay. So if I walked in a straight line, I would be okay. I would be fine. Number 3. If I slept more, I would feel better. And if I rested for a while, I would feel better. So I'm tired. If I slept more, if I rested for a while, I would feel better. So, ako bih više spavao, if I slept more, ako bih se malo odmorio, if I rested for a while, I would feel better. Osjećao bih se bolje. I would feel better. If I slept some more, if I rested for a while, if I rested my eyes. Number 5. If I took a taxi, I would arrive quicker. If I took a taxi, Uber, I would arrive quicker. Pa, ako bih išao taksijem, ako bih uzeo taksi, stigao bih brže, to je sigurno. So, I have to walk. I have to walk because I don't have enough money for a taxi. But if I took a taxi, I would arrive quicker. Ako bih išao, ako bih uzeo taksi, stigao bih brže. Number 6. If I took a bus to work, I would save some money. If I took a bus to work every morning, well, I would save some money, that's for sure. Ako bih putovao, išao autobusom na posao, ja bih uštedeo novac. If I took a bus to work, I would save some money. If I earned more money, I would definitely travel more. If I earned more money, then what? What would you do? Well, I would travel more. Kad bih zarađivao više, ja bih putovao više. If I earned more money, I would travel more. What would you do if you earned more money? Number 8. If I read that message, I would know love could be deadly. If I read that message, I would know love could be deadly. Kad bih pročitao tu poruku, onda bih znao da ljubav može biti smrtonosna. Mislim, naravno, ne u pravom smislu, generalno, ali love could be deadly. Mogli bi biti. Love could be deadly. Number 9. I know the game was far from over. I know the game was far from. Stavimo is. I know the game is far from over. Or I knew the game was far from over. Znači, znao sam da je bukvalno igra daleko od toga da je završena. Znači, ima tu još, svašta će se još izdešavati. I know the game is far from over. Iz daleko od toga da je završeno. It's far from over. Number 10. I fear that love and lies are intertwined. I fear that love and lies are intertwined. Ovdje dole piše šta je intertwined. Twisted together or closely connected so as to be difficult to separate. For example, our fates seems to be intertwined. Znači, kad je nešto upetljano, closely connected, upetljano jedno s drugim i teško da se odvoji, intertwined. Recimo, primjer je our fates seem to be intertwined, znači naše sudbine su isprepletane, naši životi. And fear and love and lies, znači ljubav i laži su intertwined, povezan, isprepletan, intertwined. Number 11. I know the next move could change everything. I know the next move could change everything. Ja znam da bi sljedeći korak mogao sve da promeni. I know the next move could change everything. I realized I was never his priority. I realized I was never his or her priority. Shvatio sam da nikada nisam bio bila njegov prioritet. I realized I was never his priority. I question every word he said. Or bolje reći, I question every word he says. Možemo i u present. Znači, ispitujem, propitujem svaku reč koju on izgovori ili koju je izgovorio. Dakle, ne verujem više ničemu. And I question every word he says and every word he said in the past. I understand why he disappeared. Razumem zašto je nestao. I understand why he disappeared. I confront the feelings I tried to ignore. Now I confront the feelings I tried to ignore in the past. Znači, suočavam se sada sa tim osjećanjima koje sam pokušavao da ignorišem ranije. So to confront, to face something, suočiti se. I confront the feelings that I tried to ignore in the past. 16. I knew it was time to walk away. I knew it was time to walk away. Znači, znao sam da je bilo vreme da odem. To walk away. I knew it was time to walk away. If I were you, I would prepare for a fight. Možemo da dodamo da sam na tvom mestu. If I were you, ja bih se pripremio za fight, za borbu, fizičku ili neku verbalnu. If I were you, I would prepare for a fight. And if I were you, I wouldn't trust the source. Da sam na tvom mestu, ja ne bih verovao izvoru. Ko ti je to rekao? Taj mi je to rekao. Well, if I were you, I wouldn't trust him. I wouldn't trust the source. I know I'm in danger. Znam da sam u opasnosti. I know I am in danger. Opet da sam na tvom mestu. If I were you, I would expect the worst outcome. And then whatever happens, it's okay. I onda šta god da se desi, dobro je. When you expect the worst outcome. Kad očekuješ da se najgore desi. So, if I were you, I would expect the worst outcome. Da sam na tvojom mestu, očekivao bi da se desi nešto najgore. The worst outcome. I wouldn't hesitate to act. If I were you, I wouldn't hesitate to act. Da sam na tvojom mestu, ja ne bih oklevao to act, da delam, da uradim nešto po tom pitanju. So, act quickly, uradi nešto, do something, whatever, do. I wouldn't hesitate to do that. I wouldn't hesitate to act. Hesitate, oklevati. I see the threat clearly. Jasno vidim pretnju. I see the threat clearly. I wouldn't wait for a backup. Ne bih čekao da sam na tom mestu. If I were you, I wouldn't wait for the backup. Ne bih čekao podršku od nekog backup. I feel the tension rise. Osjećam kako tenzija raste. I feel the tension rise. And I know it's a race against time. Ja znam da je to trka sa vremenom. Which you can never win. Koji ne možeš da pobediš. I know it's a race against time. I wouldn't ignore the warning. Znači, if I were you, da sam na tvom mestu, if I were you, I wouldn't ignore the warning. Ne bih ignorisao upozorenje. I wouldn't ignore the warning. I know it's time for action. It's time to act. It's time for action. Vreme je da se nešto uradi. Vreme je za akciju. It's time for action. I wouldn't question his orders. Opet imamo to question kao glagol. Znači, ne bih preispitivao njegova naređenja. I would believe him. I wouldn't question his orders. I feel the adrenaline kick in. I feel the adrenaline kick in. Kick in znači počinje da delujem. I sad ovde osjećam adrenalin kako se javlja, kako raste. Kick in. Kad popiješ neku tabletu, onda sačekaš neko vreme da ona kick in, da krene da deluje. I feel the adrenaline kick in. I prepare for a wild ride. I pripremam se za divlju vožnju. So I feel the adrenaline kick in and I prepare for a wild ride. I wouldn't waste time double checking. If I were you, da sam na tvom mestu, I wouldn't waste time double checking. Znači, ne bih gubio vreme na to da još jednom proveravam. Znači, I already checked everything and I wouldn't waste time double checking. I know danger is close. Znam da je opasnost u blizini. I know danger is close. And I feel like I'm in a movie. Osjećam se kao da sam u filmu. I feel like I'm in a movie. If I were you, da sam na tvom mestu, I would keep my phone ready. Držao bi telefon spremnim. If I were you, I would keep my phone ready. I know the stakes are high. I know the stakes are high. Znam da je ulog veliki. Znači da je mnogo toga u igri. I know the stakes are high. I wouldn't ignore the danger. Ne bih ignorisao opasnost. I wouldn't ignore the danger. I wouldn't trust him anymore. If I were you, I wouldn't trust him anymore. Da sam na tvom mestu, više mu ne bi verovao. And if I were you, I wouldn't fall for his charm again. I wouldn't fall for his charm again. Ne bih opet pao na njegov šarm. Mi kažemo pao sam na, oni kažu pao sam za. I wouldn't fall for it. I wouldn't fall for his charm again. I sense the betrayal. Osjećam prevaru. I sense the betrayal. If I were you, I wouldn't play with fire. Da sam na tvom mestu, ne bih se igrao sa vatrom. I wouldn't play with fire. I wouldn't play with fire. I understand love is a gamble. Razumem da je ljubav kocka. Gamble. I understand love is a gamble. And I know we need to split up. I know we need to split up. Znam to break up. Znam da moramo da se rastanemo, da raskinemo. Split up, break up. I know we need to split up. I would say it's time to switch the gear. I would say it's time to switch the gear. Bukvalno, pa rekao bih da je vreme da se promeni brzina. Dakle, se nešto promeni način razmišljanja ili delanja. It's time to switch the gear. Ili da se okrene list. I would tell him to keep moving. Rekao bih mu da nastavi da se kreće. I would tell him to keep going, keep moving. I know we can't trust anyone. Znam da ne možemo nikome da verujemo. I know that we cannot trust anyone. I would warn him not to look back. What would you do if you were me? Šta bi uradio da si na mom mestu? What would you do? Well, I would warn him not to look back. Znači, upozorio bih ga da se ne osvrće, da ne gleda nazad, da se ne obazire na prošlost. So, not to look back. I would warn him not to look back. I wouldn't open the door without checking first. If somebody knocks, or if somebody knocked at the door, what would you do? Šta bi uradio da neko pokuca na vrata? Well, I wouldn't open the door without checking first. Ne bih otvorio vrata, a da prvo ne proverim. I wouldn't open the door without checking first. Well, I know not to trust a stranger. Znam toliko da ne treba da verujem strancu. I know not to trust the stranger. I understand the danger lurking in the shadows. Or I understand the danger is lurking in the shadows. Lurk znači vrebati. Znači, shvatam, kapiram da opasnost vreba iz senke. I understand the danger is lurking in the shadows. I wouldn't go near that abandoned house. Ne bih ja išao blizu te napuštene kuće. If I were you, da sam na tvom mestu, I wouldn't go near the abandoned house. Abandoned, napušten. I would feel the urgency to run away from that house. Znači, ja bih osjećao potrebu, jaku potrebu. Need, potrebu. Urgency, jaku potrebu to run away. I wouldn't take the shortcut through the dark alley. It's not a good idea. I wouldn't take the shortcut through the dark alley. Alley je uličica. Mala ulica. Znači, ne bih ti ja išao tom prečicom kroz tu mračnu ulicu. Malu ulicu. Uličicu. I wouldn't take the shortcut through the dark alley. I would realize it's a trap. Ja bih odmah shvatio da je to zamka. I would realize it's a trap. I would know the race against time has begun. Imali smo to slično. Znači, the race against time has begun. Trka s vremenom je počela, but it's impossible to win. Nemoguće je pobediti. I wouldn't use my phone to make that call. If I were you, da sam ja na tvom mestu, I wouldn't use my phone to make that call. Znači, da sam na tvom mestu, ne bih koristio svoj telefon da telefoniram, da napravim taj poziv. I wouldn't use my phone to make that call. I would prepare for the unexpected if I were you. Ja bih se pripremio za neočekivano. If I were you, I would be prepared or I would prepare for the unexpected. This one is my favorite. I would know that the countdown to disaster has started. Odbrojavanje do disaster, do neke nesreće velike je počelo. The countdown to disaster has begun. The countdown to disaster has started. And I feel the walls closing in. I feel the walls closing in. Znači, kada se zidovi Mislim, jeziva slika, ali kad je nešto strašno, da je bezizlazna situacija, I feel the walls closing in, kao da se zidovi zatvaraju i hoće da te ostave zgniječe. So the countdown to disaster has started and I feel the walls closing in. I sense the tension in the air. Osjećam tenziju u vazduhu. I sense the tension in the air. And the last one for today is I wouldn't trust my own instincts. If I were you, I wouldn't trust my own instincts. Ja ne bih verovao svojim instinktima, mada ljudi kažu always trust your own instincts. Uvek veruj svojim instinktima. Ok, this was intense. Ova lekcija je bila intense. Nadam se da vam se dopao, da ste naučili neke nove reči. Ako jeste, ne zaboravite da pritisnete like and subscribe, ali takođe i dugme join. Dakle, ako želite da pomognete meni i kanalu, postanite član kanala pritiskom na dugme join ili na link koji se nalazi u opisu ispod videa i plaćanjem male mesečne članarine mi pomožete da nastavim da snimam za vas. Ok, that's it for today. See you next time. Bye.